What's up, everybody? It's 1 in the morning. I decided to make a video, uh, and I'm wide awake. So I decided to make this Valentine's Day oriented kind of video. But you know what? I'm gonna just try and have fun with it. I don't care. Talk about whatever. So I just pulled some random stuff, and maybe we can just have a good time. As a lot of you know, I lost my long-term girlfriend last year, and she was more about that Valentine's Day than I was. And, you know, maybe it wasn't the best thing that I was so lousy at it. I think that there was a lot of things, there was a lot of lost opportunities. But for this year, I decided to acknowledge it and, in good spirits, just try to, have a good time with it. So, this is why this video exists. So, hope you all had fun, and let's see what happens from here on out. You know what? Let's start with this one. So I pulled this Billy Squier album, 1981's Don't Say No. This was his second album, and it had a lot of his hits. I think this is pretty much where he pretty much peaked as far as commercial success. And yeah, how do I associate this with Valentine's? I think it's very suggestive. A song called The Stroke. Stroking, stroking, in the dark, my kind of lover. And then you have Lonely It's the Night. It's catchy. It was appropriate for its time when it came out. Lonely It's the Night, I feel like it's something that Cheap Trick could have wrote. They're kind of, I don't know, to me they're like interchangeable. Although there are products of that same kind of era when this stuff was coming out. I thought it was interesting that Don't Say No came out right before a time when that whole PSA era of just say no. Just say no to drugs, right? Don't say no, just say no. Come on, man, which is it? I started remembering this album again because I saw Alan episode of number 80 of Let's Talk Metal. He brought up a band called BONFIRE, and he did a cover of The Stroke. So I had to find out how that sounded like, and I actually like their version better than this. But I'm not really a big fan of the song to begin with. So, but I just curious got the best of me. Damn it, Alan. So another one here that I pulled was Robert Palmer. So this is his Riptide album. I love Robert Palmer, man. I grew up watching his music videos, man. He nailed the music video era. He knew like how to basically get you with the visuals. You know what I mean? He had all these, scantily clad women in the background dancing with the overly bright red lipstick, and came in with just looking all smooth with a suit, and nobody else was doing that quite like him. So he kind of classed it up in a kind of way, but everything was so suggestive. So he had with this album. He has Riptide, Hyperactive, Addicted to Love. That was a huge one. My favorite song on here, believe it or not, is I Didn't Mean to Turn You On, and I never get tired of hearing that. It's I don't know, something about it. A lot of you may not know that's actually a cover song. So an artist named Cherelle, so she came out with that hit, I think the year right before this. For some reason, I guess he felt compelled to, out the gate, just do a cover of that song. And if you watch the Cherelle version, the video, there's just the song itself. I feel like, to me anyway, it sounds like almost like a discount version of Prince's 1999. So I think there's several reasons why it wasn't the hit with her version as his was. With her version, I Didn't Mean to Turn You On, it sounds like she really means it. It's just like, I didn't mean to turn you on. But with Robert Palmer, take that shit and put it in quotes. It's like, I didn't mean to turn you on. But while I'm at it, I'm going to put these scantily clad women just dancing in the background. They're just, backdrop accessories. Don't worry about it. He had a way of doing stuff with his music, and kind of making it work with the visuals. Rest in peace, man. Okay, so here's two other ones I pulled. I guess you could somehow associate with Valentine's Day. Trying to figure out how to tie all this stuff in. Album covers. So I'm going to show you an example of a bad album cover and show you an example of a well-directed, thought-out album cover. So the first one is, and many of you know, there's a very sappy song called Love of a Lifetime. So very gooey. You know, that's the kind of song that, you know, you can bring your girlfriend to and she'll probably melt. But a lot of the guys will probably listen to that. But the thing is, this is their debut album, and here we go. So it consists of a house on fire. There she is with the matchstick. And why do I have a problem with this? Right out the gate, you know, you want to make a good impression, right? You only get one chance to make a first impression. So I don't know why they approved this, but to me, it's just way too literal. Firehouse. Let's put a house on fire. And conceptually, it sucks. I think they could have done something a little more interesting with this. Also, you look at her, she kind of looks like a bit like she almost looks like Liv Tyler. Weird, really enough. But it looks like she was kind of photoshopped in there. Like the lighting doesn't match or anything like that. It's just terrible. Man, look at these guys. So, what's a good album cover? I'm going to show you just a bona fide classic. So, Scorpions, Love It First Thing. This is the one, yeah, We're Still Loving You. There you go, there's your Valentine song. So, why is this a good cover? Because it's not so overt. It doesn't hit you over the head with... Now, this is not their debut album, of course, but even then, you know, they don't try to hammer you with the title tying in with the picture. I think we're all intelligent enough to know how to kind of tie it all in. So, Love It First Thing. I always like this cover. You know, her kind of her sitting there with the scorpion tattoo, and him with the kind of the gun there, and you know, it's kind of the passionate embrace and all this stuff going on. But you know, it's like you kind of have to think a little bit. You look around, and then you don't see this right away. You know, and then when you look at, okay, Love It First Thing, bam, see, there you go. Not so overt, not so literal. It just works. Alright, so here's a few more stragglers. I got the 7-inch here. So this is a Kurt Cobain recording. And this is from tracks from the Montage of Heck. So after, you know, Nirvana were done, I think several more recordings of Kurt's material. The thing about is, if you are, you know, a megastar like he was, and you kind of off yourself, or whatever happens, you know, your estate takes care of your things, and or your family, and a lot of the recordings that you never really intended to go public likely will, and this is some of the recordings. I'm not saying Kurt didn't intend for these tracks to be released in any way or some shape or form. Like the song Sappy here had, was it verse, chorus, verse? I think it was another name for it. And so this one came out this is a 2015 issuing. So it's got And I Love Her. And I Love Her is a cover song. And now I know what you're all thinking. This is not Used to Love Her by Guns N' Roses. You know, used to love her, but I had to kill her. You know, this is the Beatles. Yeah, apparently Kurt listened to the Beatles. And it's okay. I was never really a fan of that song to begin with. But Sappy, yeah, that was pretty dreary, man. That was very dreary and depressing. It actually does not sound like a Nirvana song. I know he recorded that around the Nevermind sessions. And there's a debate up in the air about what that song's about. And some people say it's about his pet turtle. I don't see it. If you read the lyrics, I think somebody nailed it. They said it had something to do with gender norms between male and female relationships. And if you look back here, it's got two statues. Kurt himself made these. And, you know, you got this sort of, I don't know, he doesn't look all too happy. And then there's her. So if you actually take out the 7-inch, you know, you can see them on each side too. So there he is there. On that's the Sappy side. The Sappy song had to be the guy statue. I wonder why. And then you had the And I Love Her, and obviously it would be her, right? I don't know. But thought this was something a little different. I'm usually curious about, you know, what Kurt might have been working on that wasn't part of the whole regular Nirvana stuff. He did play that Sappy song in quite different variations. He played it live quite a number of times. But this is the demo iteration of it. I like how raw it is. It's probably my favorite version of that Sappy song. But yeah, so played that Sappy song on Valentine's Day, and let's see how you feel. Yeah, you're probably gonna hate Valentine's after that. Another one I picked up was this, and I just talked about Scorpions. So this is a compilation album. So I figured I'll bring them up again. So this one's, it's specific. It's best of rockers and ballads. So it doesn't have all the what you call other kind of tracks that's not associated with any kind of love or anything like that. Scorpions, Klaus had a very dynamic way of really pounding out those songs, man. He was an amazing singer. I mean, I'm saying was, I guess he's not alive. He is an amazing singer. And you know, you got tracks here from Animal Magnetism, Love Drive, you know, Love It First Thing, you know, I just talked about that. So it's cool. You're not going to find a song like Wind of Change on here. As a matter of fact, I think this was originally released in '89, so that song might have been like might have just dropped, or right before that song dropped. So it wouldn't have worked to something like this. That's, you know, like that song's more of a social narrative, politically driven kind of song. So this is just focused on the ballad stuff. You know, so and Scorpions have plenty of that kind of material. So, you know, if that's your thing, you know, again, just so you know, there exists a compilation focused on those kind of tracks from the Scorpions. You know, but I think they're good songs. Blackout's a good song. Rhythm of Love, No One Like You. The intro to No One Like You, that fucking solo, man, it just, I can never turn it off, man. It's fucking great. So, here's another one. Depeche Mode. Black Celebration. There's no bad Depeche Mode album. You know, but this is definitely, this one, it's probably my favorite out of everything they put out. But, you know, but not by much. Very moody album. I feel like with this album, you know, the Cure put out, you know, Pornography, you know, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, you know, and they came these guys, though they're not a goth band, but they play that kind of stuff in that minor key. You know, it kind of puts you in that sort of dreary, kind of just, I don't know, it just puts you in that place, kind of like the way the Cure did in a lot of ways. But these guys kind of did it in their own little post-punk, you know, synth pop kind of way. You know, so a song, here it is, A Question of Lust. That's your Valentine's Day song right there. You know, it's not romantic. You know, it's just, but I still think it's kind of appropriate. You know, not everything Valentine's has to be romantic. You know, sometimes it just puts you in that sort of kind of space, because we feel all kinds of things that day. You know, happy, sad, loneliness, whatever. You know, but I think this album captures a lot of moods. And it's just well produced. All these tracks are catchy. I think it's a really good pivotal example of this kind of sound at the time. And I think with this album, they really found their sound. From here on out, you know, they were a lot more focused as far as the direction of how they were going to produce their music and everything else. So there you go. Definitely check it out. I'll probably leave a link for Question of Lust. So if any of you are curious, or you kids who kind of skip this generation, you get yourself familiar with some of the material. Oh, I have a quick update for you guys. So if you guys watched the Chromium Dioxide Sleazy contest video, I brought up a little story about the piano and the clarinet. So her friends kind of tried to cheer her up. So here they are again. So they tried to set her up with a blind date, and the date never showed up. So here they are to the rescue again, and they sat down with her and had dinner and all that stuff, and tried not to make the night such a waste. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave her phone number right here. So if any of you are out there also hopelessly in love, you know, she's available. So, you know, she's a good person or a good instrument. Sure, a good time. So there's that. So I pulled out 2 albums with the V on the covers. Thought was very appropriate for Valentine's Day. Yeah, this is the Spock V. You know, shout out to Spock, and I applaud him, because that Vulcan neck pinch, he could have easily just used that for salacious purposes, but he never took advantage of that. So, very cool of him. Only when it was necessary. So anyway, here's a classic album, and you know, I'm thinking of like anything appropriate for Valentine's Day or whatever. You got Survivor, so Chicago band. So this is the Vital Signs album. This is the first one with Jimmy Jamison, right? And I think the hits on here worked out better with this particular singer. You know, Eye of the Tiger was huge for the band. And Dave Bickler, the thing about Dave Bickler was that he had I think he had a more of a hoarser kind of voice. It wouldn't have worked as well for the more ballady kind of stuff. Whereas Jimmy had more of a more sultry kind of voice that worked out for these hits. I mean, I can't hold back, High on You, The Search Is Over. You know, that one. You know, that was their power ballad, I guess you could say, at the time. Really big and really big radio hit. So that's the first V album. You know, both singers over time, there was quite a lot of tension between who's the lead singer at the time, and going back and forth. There was a lot of illegal battles regarding ownership of the hits and all that stuff. Rest in peace, Jimmy. You know, he struggled with addiction. So the next one here, this is a cool one. So the Vibrators. So the Vibrators are still around, they're still putting out stuff. And this is the fucking Punk 77. Their first album, Pure Mania, so this is pretty much parodying that first album that they came out with. So they were part of that first wave of punk bands, and this is kind of an homage album. So it's kind of covering that era, right before the second wave, the street punk bands kind of took over in the early 80s. So this is all covers. They even cover their own songs from that first album. So they kind of do their, I guess, more modern interpretation. So this came out in 2007. So some 30 years later, they figured it would be cool to put something like this together. So it's got covers, The Clash, The Damned, The Stranglers, Dead Boys, also Sonic Reducer, which is, that's the Dead Boys song with Wayne Kramer of MC5. Also appears on this, which is pretty cool. The Ramones, of course, the several Ramones tracks, the big ones, Sheena's a Punk Rocker, Judy's a Punk. You got others, Teenage Kicks by the Undertones, Borstal Breakout, Sham 69. So if you're into punk at all, you know, I think this is definitely a worthwhile pickup. Not too hard to find, not, you know, pretty reasonably priced. But I thought it was pretty cool to have. I know there's a version of this with the green on it, but I like the pink. The Vibrators. I got my first real 6-string. I bought it at the 5 and Dime. Played it till my fingers bled. Was it the summer of '69? Oh, hi there. You know, I decided when I do the year 69, it is a Valentine's video. Hint, hint. So I'm going to tie it with some movies. But first, this soundtrack. So a lot of you who are hardcore into exploitation films and things like that would know what I'm talking about with this particular movie. But for those of you being introduced to this, I'm talking about Dracula. So what does Dracula have to do with 69? Well, this particular movie came out in 1969, and it is called Dracula, the Dirty Old Man. You know what's even crazy is that the whole movie is actually available on YouTube, but in the form of a commentary. There's somebody who, so I'll see if I can find that link again, put it there for you, if you're at all curious. Just make sure the kids are not in the room, if you're going to plan on watching that. But if you decide to pick up this LP, this soundtrack does include the movie. So you get the DVD right here. So if you're, I don't know how much of a horn dog you are, but this is a true horn dogs kind of movie. So the title is exactly what it suggests. Dracula is a dirty old man in here. What's really interesting is that the person involved with this, Walter Whitfield Boyd, passed away in '84. He's had quite a bit of a, let's just say, legal trouble and all kinds of things. He was very controversial with some of his projects. And just generally as a person, probably not somebody you want to be around much. Based on what I'm getting here. There's a very interesting description of his backstory and everything else. So there you go. Is the acting great? No. Everything works out. What you expect is something that's kind of edging on porn and one form or another. Look at that expression on his face. You know, the whole thing is just kind of well, why am I showing this? You know, so yeah, glorious audio swagger discovered buried deep in this mess of a film. I like the, for such a low budget, just badly acted movie, they give this reissue such a good treatment. You know, this is a pretty killer reissue. Even the vinyl, it's let me show you. Came in this nice red, and holy shit. So I put this on because I discovered it online actually. Someone mentioned there was a thread on really good jazz albums, and somebody mentioned Dracula, a dirty old man, and it wasn't quite connecting. I was like, well, so I explored this just to see if these people were not just trolling. Fuck, man, this is some really great jazz. This is one of those examples where the music is so much better than the movie, and I would say, you know, if you are a snob about movies and everything's got to be sort of very done well, don't get the DVD yet, but I would say pick it up for the soundtrack. Get this LP. If you're into any kind of jazz at all, you know, especially just really well done. Such a great soundtrack. And, you know, but if you pick this up, you're probably going to get the DVD anyway, along with it. So the problem with this movie is, you know, if you're very sensitive about the treatment of women, and, you know, with, you know, the whole imprisonment thing and just the whole, I don't know, it's just very sleazy and just, you come out feeling really dirty. I felt bad for the actresses involved in that movie. Just, I mean, I don't know how the whole thing came about and how everybody felt in the end, but just for being an observer and watching this movie, you're gonna want to watch something with a little more empowerment. Get the girls back their power. So so sticking with 1969, watch that Venus video, not the Bananarama version. That's the wrong one. It's got to be the 1969 version. Man, why am I drawing a blank? Shocking Blue. That's who it was. Watch the Shocking Blue video, Venus, and that'll clean all the dirty and grittiness and all the bad stuff that they were doing to that women in that movie, and that'll put the power back on. I don't know. I just felt like bringing that up. The next one is a Blu-ray, and this is not tied to really music at all, but I thought it'd be pretty cool to just bring up another movie with a bit of a twist. So this is Lucio Folchi. So a lot of you Fulci fans, you probably associate him with more horror. So this is a Perversion story. And this is one of those movies where I can't really go too deeply into it because again, it's got a really nice twist ending to it. But it does involve a doctor. Involves insurance. It involves there's quite a bit of sleazy stuff happening here. Betrayal, all that other stuff. But definitely worth checking out. I'll leave a link to the description or wherever you can find it. If I can find a way you can probably watch it, I'll see if I can do that. But I would say it's definitely worth checking out. And this is a very early one in his career. So this is here. I'll leave you. I'll read you the teaser. What is the most incredible thing a woman ever did for $1 million? We're talking about $1 million in 1969, so it stretches a little farther than it does now. But there you go. So that's my movie. Well, thank you all for sticking around, and this will conclude the 2022 Dreadful Valentine's video, I guess. So I'll catch you all later, and as usual, keep it dreadful.